Chosen ones, listen carefully. Before you hear these words, still your spirit, for what follows is not human speech, but a whisper from the throne of heaven. You are not here by coincidence. Divine hands have guided your steps to this exact moment in time. Heaven has arranged this encounter, because something within you must realign with the will of God. This is not punishment, it is mercy, the Spirit says. Obey before it's too late. What you are about to hear carries the weight of eternity. A call to surrender, before delay becomes destruction, and disobedience becomes distance. This message is your turning point, a sacred warning wrapped in love. The Spirit says, stop running from the pull of my hand. There comes a time in every divine journey, where heaven no longer whispers. It commands. That time is now. The voice of God is tugging at your spirit, urging you to align, to stop fighting the flow that was designed for your favor. Every chosen one feels this tug. It is not anxiety, it is awakening. You are not being pulled backward. You are being pulled into position. Alignment is not about movement in the flesh, but stillness in the spirit. It is about coming into harmony with heaven's rhythm, not your own timing, not your own understanding, but divine order. The Spirit says, the place you are in now is not random. I placed you there to test if you would move when I move. The moment you choose alignment, the confusion breaks. The moment you surrender, the resistance fades. Many cry out for breakthrough, yet few yield to instruction. Heaven is not looking for the loudest prayer. It is searching for the deepest obedience. You can cry, fast, and seek, but until you align, heaven cannot release what is already yours. The delay you've been feeling is not punishment. It's preparation. It is not denial. It's divine discipline, waiting for your obedience to unlock the next chapter. Every act of obedience builds bridges in the unseen, the things that seemed impossible, the paths that looked closed. They begin to open when your heart says, yes. God does not bless confusion. He blesses alignment. The Spirit says, when you obey me before understanding me, you honor my sovereignty. When you wait for logic, you delay your miracle. Heaven's order doesn't follow earthly logic. It flows from faith. This command to align is not a suggestion, it is a spiritual summons. You have been chosen to walk in a vibration higher than human reason. The alignment heaven requires now will not always make sense. It may ask you to leave something, silence something, or trust something unseen. But remember this: when heaven calls, obedience is your only safety. Every act of surrender is a signal to the spirit realm that you belong to divine order, not worldly chaos. The heavens are watching closely now. Not your words, but your response. God is measuring hearts, not prayers. Who will move when the Spirit speaks? Who will align without needing applause, approval, or explanation? The true chosen do not argue with instruction. They recognize its power and move without delay. This is that moment. This is that bridge. You are standing between where you were and where God has called you. Do not hesitate. Do not question the pull that heaven placed within you. The command is simple, but sacred: align now. For every door you've been waiting for is waiting on one thing: your obedience. And when you step into divine alignment, destiny will open like the sunrise after a long night. The Spirit of God is moving with unusual urgency. This is not a season of comfort. It is a season of command. Heaven is not asking, heaven is declaring. The Spirit is calling those who can feel divine movement before it manifests, those who no longer need confirmation to act, because their souls already know when God is shifting the atmosphere. The sound of heaven right now is not gentle. It is a trumpet. The vibration of urgency is echoing across the hearts of the chosen, awakening those who have been sleeping beneath the weight of hesitation. The Spirit says, I am separating the watchers from the doors, the hearers from the obeyers. There are many who listen but never move, many who agree but never act. But this time, the heavens are looking for movers, those who align in silence, without hesitation, without debate. The divine wind is blowing swiftly, and only those who obey in motion will catch it. The Spirit is revealing who truly trusts heaven's timing. Those who pause to analyze will miss what has already passed. This hour carries divine speed, not earthly urgency, but spiritual acceleration. God is aligning moments, hearts, and doors in perfect precision. But the gate is timed, it does not stay open forever. The hesitation of your mind can cost the revelation of your future. What looks like a small delay in the natural becomes a lost opportunity in the unseen. When heaven commands movement, every second matters, because obedience is not about convenience, it is about divine synchronization. Heaven says, "When I speak, I am already in motion." Your obedience determines if you move with me or get left behind. This means the moment you hear His instruction, the Spirit is already advancing. The current of divine will is flowing, and if you linger in doubt, you drift out of rhythm. Every act of hesitation distances you from the miracle that was already prepared. The longer you delay, the further the blessing moves into waiting, not gone, but delayed, waiting for your yes. Delay is not silence, it is rebellion disguised as caution. The enemy often whispers through logic, convincing the chosen to pause until they understand. But divine things are not understood first. They are obeyed first. The understanding comes after the obedience. The Spirit is saying, "Move now, even if you don't see where the path leads. I am the map, I am the destination, I am the movement, chosen ones, the time to move is now. Heaven has spoken. The window is narrow, and what you do in this hour will echo in eternity." There is a grace available only in motion, a power that only flows through obedience in real time. Those who move now will walk under open skies, but those who wait will wonder why heaven grew silent. Do not overthink this moment. This is not a time for reasoning. It is a time for response. Move where you are led, say what you are told, and step where faith points. The urgency you feel is not anxiety. It is destiny pressing forward. Align, obey, and move now, before the moment passes, because once the trumpet fades, the gates of opportunity will close behind you. The Spirit says, "I do not need your understanding. I require your yes." Heaven does not wait for your logic to agree. Heaven waits for your obedience to align. You are not being asked to figure everything out. You are being asked to trust what your spirit already knows is divine. Faithful obedience is the highest expression of love, the purest form of surrender, and the greatest test of destiny. The Spirit is whispering to your heart, "You don't have to see the road. You only need to trust the one who carved it." You will not see the full picture until you step into the unknown. The way of the chosen is not a path of sight. It is a journey walked by Spirit, not by eyes. The Lord hides clarity behind obedience to see who truly trusts Him beyond human reason. He calls you to move, not because it makes sense, but because it's sacred. Every time you take a step in faith, the next step is revealed. Each movement forward activates another piece of divine alignment. Obedience is not the end of confusion. It's the beginning of revelation. The Spirit says, obedience births revelation, not the other way around. So many wait for confirmation, but heaven is waiting for commitment. You say, "God, show me first." And heaven replies, "Obey first." For revelation is not given to the cautious. It is entrusted to the courageous. The secrets of heaven are not spoken to those who stand still, but to those who walk when others hesitate. When you say, "Yes," before you understand, heaven unveils mysteries that were hidden from the wise and revealed to the willing. Each act of faith echoes through the heavens. Each surrender builds divine momentum. When you yield your will to divine command, creation responds. Angels record obedience like a decree, and unseen doors begin to shift. Every sacrifice, every silent step, every unseen act of faith becomes a sound in the spiritual realm. A vibration that draws divine favor closer. You may not see it yet, but your obedience is speaking louder than any prayer. Heaven moves when faith moves. When you obey in silence, angels move in speed. The moment you choose to say, yes, without hesitation, the Spirit releases acceleration. What was stuck begins to move. What was delayed begins to flow. The Spirit says, I honor swift obedience. I move in real time with those who trust me beyond reason. You are not waiting for the miracle. The miracle is waiting for your obedience to activate. Those who say, yes, before knowing why will walk in power no eye has seen. This is the secret of the faithful. Their surrender becomes their shield, their obedience becomes their anointing. Heaven does not reward understanding. It rewards trust. The ones who obey in mystery are the ones who manifest glory. The ones who move when others question will carry what others can only imagine. Chosen ones, this is your test, not of strength, but of surrender. Heaven is not asking you to be perfect. Heaven is asking you to be willing. You may not know why the Spirit is telling you to do something that seems small, strange, or simple. But understand this, it is a key. It will unlock what your striving never could. Do not wait to understand. Just move. For each yes, spoken in faith builds a bridge between your current reality and your divine future. This is the hour of quick obedience, where those who follow divine impulse without hesitation will carry the weight of heaven's glory. Your yes will rewrite your tomorrow. The heavens are patient, but this moment is not eternal. There are divine windows that do not stay open forever. Moments written in the scrolls of destiny that call for immediate obedience. Heaven operates by divine timing, not human convenience. When God commands, time itself bends to respond. The Spirit's call is not bound by earthly rhythm. It comes when the atmosphere is ready. When your spirit is positioned, when destiny is watching. To delay in such a moment is to let purpose slip through unseen cracks in time. Those who ignore divine nudges lose more than opportunity. They lose alignment. The Spirit whispers through restlessness, through dreams, through moments of silence, urging movement before the door closes. Yet the human heart often hesitates, waiting for comfort instead of clarity. But heaven says, the moment I speak, the season shifts. Those who wait too long will find themselves outside what I prepared. Alignment is fragile. It depends not on effort but on timing. What you delay in the natural, you risk forfeiting in the Spirit. The Spirit says, my hand is extended, but it will not remain forever. This is mercy speaking, not anger. This is a holy warning wrapped in love. God's patience is vast, yet His timing is precise. There comes a moment when heaven must move on, not out of rejection, but out of divine order. What was meant for your elevation will then be given to another willing vessel. The Spirit does not linger where obedience has gone silent. This warning is not to frighten you but to awaken you. Fear paralyzes, but revelation activates. The Spirit is not speaking doom. He is opening your eyes to the sacredness of now. You are standing in a divine intersection, where hesitation carries a cost greater than effort. Heaven is saying, move, even if you tremble. Act, even if you don't fully see. Trust that your obedience will hold you, where logic cannot. Every delayed obedience becomes disobedience when heaven has moved on. The longer you wait, the quieter divine opportunities become. But for those who respond quickly, there is acceleration, a supernatural lifting beyond delay. Act before the window closes, for this instruction carries protection, unseen, and favor, unmeasured. This is not just a call to obedience. It is a rescue from what was meant to stop you. Move now. The heavens are waiting for your yes. Obedience is the sacred language of those who walk in rhythm with heaven. It is not the act of compliance. It is the sound of alignment. Every yes, spoken in faith vibrates through eternity, echoing louder than the prayers that come from fear. The Spirit of God says, obedience is the highest form of worship, for it proves your trust before you see my hand. When you obey, you enter into a divine current that carries you beyond human timing and understanding. You begin to walk not by sight, but by divine orchestration. When you obey, you invite angelic forces to work on your behalf. There are realms that only move when you move. Angels are dispatched not by intention, but by obedience. Heaven's order responds to movement, not emotion. You may not see the winds shifting, or the walls falling. But in the unseen, creation itself bends to honor the one who listens and acts. Every obedient step sends a signal to the heavens. This one can be trusted. You will not always see the immediate fruit. But in the unseen, your obedience builds walls of light. These invisible walls are shields of divine protection, erected every time you choose faith over hesitation. Where others stumble, you will stand. Where others fall, you will rise. Not because you are stronger, but because your obedience placed you in the fortress of divine covering. The Spirit says, each act of surrender shifts your atmosphere. Each step of faith plants new roots in your destiny. This is not about reward. It is about remembrance. Heaven remembers those who listened when it was hard to hear. Those who moved when it didn't make sense. Those who remained faithful when silence surrounded them. Every act of obedience is written in the scroll of remembrance, where divine favor is recorded for the appointed time. When you obey, you are marked, favored, shielded, and chosen. The mark is not seen by men, but recognized by heaven. It is the seal that tells darkness, this one belongs to God. Your obedience crowns you with protection, surrounds you with peace, and positions you for revelation. The hidden blessing is this: your obedience today prepares the path for miracles tomorrow. So, chosen one, obey before it's too late, for your yes will open what prayer alone could never reach. After obedience comes unveiling. The same voice that whispered, move, will soon declare, see. The moment you step into obedience, heaven begins to unfold what was once hidden behind the veil of mystery. Obedience does not just please God, it activates His revelation. The Spirit of the Lord says, those who walk by faith will soon walk in sight. You will come to understand that what felt like a simple act was, in truth, the unlocking of a divine sequence written long before you were born. The Spirit continues to say, I do not command without purpose. Every instruction carries revelation within it. When God said, obey before it's too late, it wasn't a warning of fear, but a promise of timing. The timing of heaven is holy, and those who move with it are never late, never misplaced, never forgotten. You will soon see that every step of surrender was not random. It was a key turning in the lock of destiny. Heaven will reveal why the urgency was divine, and why the command was sacred. You will see how the Spirit was protecting you from unseen traps, closing doors that looked good but led to bondage, and opening paths that no man could build. You will realize that what you called a delay was actually divine synchronization. God aligning your spirit with His plan. The Spirit says, you obeyed while blind, now I will cause you to see clearly. When you obey without seeing, heaven responds without delay. The unseen realm moves faster for those who move in faith. Every obedient act releases acceleration, not of time, but of purpose. God says, because you trusted me when it made no sense, I will now show you what sense could never reveal. Because you obeyed when others doubted, heaven will now trust you with what others only prayed for. You will carry what others desired, not because you were more worthy, but because you were more willing. Your obedience proved your heart could handle revelation without pride, favor without corruption, and purpose without compromise. This is not the end. It is the beginning of divine partnership. Heaven does not walk with the loud. It walks with the obedient. You have crossed a threshold. No longer just a believer, but a vessel chosen to co-labor with the Almighty. The revelation after obedience is not just knowledge. It is communion. You will no longer guess what God is doing. You will walk in what He is doing. Your obedience has opened your eyes, and now heaven will open your future. Heaven is not whispering, it is speaking with divine authority. This is not merely a gentle nudge, or a suggestion wrapped in mystery. This is a command born of love, a sacred call echoing from eternity into this very moment. You are standing at a spiritual intersection, where obedience decides destiny. The Spirit of God says, do not delay. For time is no longer waiting for your understanding. It is waiting for your obedience. Do not question what your spirit already knows is true. Deep within you, something is stirring. Not fear, but recognition. You feel it because heaven has touched you. You sense it because you are marked. The divine instruction sent to you in this season is not about perfection, it is about positioning. God is not asking you to have it all figured out. He is asking you to move when He speaks, to trust when He commands, and to obey even when your mind cannot comprehend the full reason. When you move, the ground will move with you. What once resisted you will begin to make room for you. Every unseen door that seemed locked will begin to respond to your obedience. The earth itself is coded to react to the steps of the obedient. When you obey, heaven unfolds before you, like a scroll revealing the next line of your divine story. The angels stand ready, watching for the moment you say your quiet, unwavering, yes. Chosen ones understand this truth. Obedience is not a burden, it is a bridge. It carries you from where you are into what God has already prepared. You are not obeying to earn something, you are obeying to enter something. Heaven moves with those who listen quickly and act faithfully. The Spirit says, I am testing who trusts my voice above their logic, who moves by faith and not by sight. This is not a message, it is a summons. You have been called by name, separated by grace, and chosen by divine appointment. Heaven is aligning everything for this moment, but your response determines your portion. Obey before it's too late. Not because God's love will fade, but because your window of alignment will close. Every act of obedience is a seed that time cannot bury. When you say yes, heaven marks the moment. Angels record your surrender. The winds shift. The unseen realm recognizes your faith. So stand firm, chosen one. Silence your doubts. Quiet your fears. Lift your spirit and answer heaven's call with one sacred word. Yes. For in your yes, eternity shifts.